Well, we have breaking news to start New Truth Tuesday. We will be discussing this mildly and carefully, but I don't know if you guys can see what the result was. It says guilty on all three charges. So just praying for all of our police force out there, praying for people in the community, and hopefully we'll have a peaceful end to this. I don't know what's going to happen, but let's bring Amy on and we'll get started on New Truth Tuesday. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the New Normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Like Queen Lisa, and today is New Truth Tuesday. So we've got Amy Fulmer joining us. Amy, I don't know if you were able to hear while I did the quick intro, the breaking news came across my phone that Officer Chauvin has been convicted guilty on all three counts.
Yeah. It's oh, wow, Lisa, I don't even know what to say. They're pretty much on lockdown out there right now. They closed the schools for several days. They've called in the National Guard because of the verdict. They are bracing for nationwide protests. And the only thing that I can say is that I hope people will be safe throughout all this. I mean, whether you like the verdict or you hate the verdict, I mean, I have personal feelings about the verdict. I really would like to see what was in that autopsy.
I think they told everyone what was in it.
I mean, you know, as someone who's very, 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 very intimately aware of fentanyl, when fentanyl gets into your bloodstream, it's heart attack, it's loss of oxygen, the whole respiratory system shuts down, it's game over. So if he had fentanyl in his system, I mean,
it's absolutely heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. The whole thing is so heartbreaking. Yeah, breathe, right?
Yeah.
The legal system.
Lots of prayers for our police officers, their families, the city of Minneapolis. Right? Was that Minneapolis?
Yeah.
Is that the right? Okay.
I think so. And moving forward, all the other cities that have been experiencing all this violence, you know, Portland and some of the other cities, let's really hope that, you know, we can just keep a lid on things. I think we've all been through enough. And using, you know, these events as excuses to damage and hurt our society and our local communities is just not right.
Yeah, I did have somebody shared this with me, and I thought it was an interesting point of view. It says that you know who pretendency just tampered with the jury, because while they were deciding, he puts out this public post that says he spoke with the Floyd's family and he's praying the verdict is the right verdict in the Chauvin trial. That definitely seems like interference and could cause, you know, call for an appeal, I would think, because of that. I'm no legal eagle, but curious what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I think, Lisa, right now, and I hate to say this, but like so many other facets of our community, we are struggling, and this is actually a really good topic in the way for you to start out with. Our legal system is so stacked right now. You know, I loved the concept of our legal. I was always proud as an American to have our legal system. I always felt like it was a beautiful checks and balances. We do have a right to, you know, jury by trial. But unfortunately, now with the way our society is gone and with all of these appointees, these judges are appointed. And when you've got people in power appointing them that have an agenda, that have received money for donations, on and on and on, they're going to stack the cards. So how much of this is letter of the law? I don't know. And that's what concerns me in the legal system. You've functioned in the legal system. I've really functioned in the legal system. And I have a lot of respect for it. a tremendous amount of respect for our legal system, but let's put it this way: justice does not always prevail.
Right. But I do think, we were seeing some positive things. Last week we reported on what was
Mhm.
going on, at the Supreme Court,
Yeah.
going after Newsom, and then the Texas Supreme Court actually punishing that judge that made the salon owner stay home. So
Right.
this is a little news from my neck of the woods. The Oklahoma Supreme Court upholds a ruling that the Norman City Council violated the Open Meeting Act by
Okay.
cutting the police department budget. They cut the police department budget in Norman by over $865,000. You have to understand that Norman is a super libtard town. It's there's OU, the big college is there, and all the academia and all that
Mhm. Yeah.
crap live there.
Yeah.
So just it's encouraging seeing that these Supreme Court, the courts can work.
Mhm.
Our
Mhm.
Constitution is good, and unfortunately, we're just going to have to see more of this stuff.
Well, I love this, Lisa, and I love that you bring this up, and it really ties into some of the stuff that I've got today, because you're absolutely right. See, when we have the system function like it's supposed to function with checks and balances, it's really a beautiful thing to hear when it does, because there's so much dysfunction that when something functions with truth and honesty, I want to always talk about it on this show, because that's what we do, New Truth Tuesdays. And because we are lacking in our society, in the media, there is no more investigative reporting. There is no news anymore. There's just media propaganda. We all know that. And the
Right.
followers of your show, Lisa, know that. But the beautiful hope is that if everyone shares with a person who maybe is not so sure,
Right.
that's how the spread of democracy and the spread of our voices is going to continue on. And it does work. And so I always encourage people, especially with Lisa's content on her show, please, everybody, share these videos, because people today are desperate for some type of truth, or at least just to hear another unbiased
Right.
opinion. As I've said many times on this show, I do this for the love of my heart and the love of my country, and because I love Lisa. But there is no financial remuneration. When you see someone who gets financial remuneration in a big way, like Big Pharma, these politicians, that's when you have to step back and start saying, what's the agenda here? What do they have to gain from it?
Yeah. Well, and I think that leads us to kind of what we're seeing. If you guys haven't watched, Uncle Cliff did a great, terrifying but great interview yesterday, or a video yesterday, talking about, he's hearing directly from nurses. And on my Patreon, I talked about someone that I know who, well, actually, there's two people. One person's been affected by this. In a mental capacity, and another person that I know has been affected by that through this menstruation issue. Let me
So,
see if
Lisa,
I can reshare that
I,
video.
s-
Yeah, you sent
yeah,
me that link.
I
I've got
say
it.
I just, and I'll pick my words very carefully here.
Hmm.
Lisa had notified me over the weekend that there were women that were having menstrual, let's put it this way, oddities, things happening to them that were very odd after they had received the. So, because I don't like to jump on any kind of fear porn bandwagon, because
Right, right.
I have a
You don't
tendency to
need.
go down every
Mhm.
tinfoil hat conspiracy for 3 days and not leave my house. Lisa, I did a lot. I did quite a bit of investigation. And because this is so new, and I have to be really unbiased about this, I didn't find anything definitive other than the early verbal reports of women starting to approach their doctors after and now they're having issues.
Well, so there are documented, it's up to, at first I was hearing over 400% rise in miscarriages. Now, Uncle Cliff said it's closer to 600% of miscarriages. And he didn't know if that was because this caused your own body um, to fight against or see the infant as a foreign object. So not containing that or containing that. Anyway, lots of speculation. No one knows really what's going on with that, but it's something to keep in mind. I think the terrifying part for me is that they're also reporting in different communities. I saw a video from a doula, the lady that helps natural stay-at-home births.
Yeah.
And she said in our community, even there are women that didn't take that, but because they're hanging around people that did, they're having those same effects. And then Uncle Cliff explains how we're shedding our DNA all the time. And that,
and Lisa, I found that because when I read about Cliff's findings, I also found out that's one of the things that frightened me the most, is that that's actually, there's other people reporting that the way this mRNA works. Yeah,
sorry,
mRNA.
Keep my back the blue on there.
Okay. This is the part, like, I almost can't even talk about it. It upsets me so much, and I don't want to get in trouble. But imagine that you're someone like me who is electing not to proceed with this process. And then you're hanging around everybody who is doing it, okay? And they're shedding. It would make sense that as you breathe, that you, and as like, we shed skin cells. We are shedding. I think
that's how herd immunity happens naturally, is that we are all sharing each other's DNA, whether we like it or not.
Yeah. And they even said on one report I wrote, like, if you have, I don't want to say the word sex, because I don't know if we'll get banned for even saying that word.
We don't. Yeah. On my least controversial shows, we get banned. So we don't know what we're allowed to say or not.
They say if you are, smooching with somebody, that they have been and you have not, that could really be problematic for the person who has not. Now, that really, I mean, as a human, that terrifies me to no end. The concept that could be happening, and what it made me think, Lisa, this is just food for thought. And yeah, now I'm putting my tinfoil hat on. Yes, Phil, I'm livid. Yeah, thank you. Me too. Like,
all I can think about is, I'm finally to this point where my kids are, well, mostly we have Cannon at home still. He's only 10 and a half. But like, I'm at this point in my life where, like, I want to have grandkids and I want to enjoy life and all this. And then to think that these monsters could have created something to try to depopulate. It's just too much for me. It makes me very angry.
Well, that's where I went, Lisa. When I thought about this, I thought, at first I took in the information, but then I thought of, why would they do this? And I thought, oh, this is part of yeah, Lisa, exactly. I mean, I'm trying to keep a lid on, like, right now, if we weren't on a censored show.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I would go off. Like, I would go off on this. Like,
Amy will say a 4-letter word or two.
Oh, listen, I've got I talk like a truck driver, I swear to God. And I was never a truck driver. You know what I'm saying? I would go off. Like, I would go off on this, but I'm trying so hard, Lisa, not to get you kicked off your show.
Yes, I know. Well, hopefully we can share. We have a really intelligent community, and we can share enough that that they know.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Here's the takeaway on this.
Mom, if you're watching Papa's coming upstairs, you might help him.
For those that, I mean, look at it this way. All of my loved ones have done there's no going back. Although they're saying now there's going to be one needed because the 1 and 2 were not enough. Now they're saying this and possibly this. So if that doesn't tell you all you need to know right there. But here's the thing. I can't change what people have done, and neither can you guys. But the reason why Lisa and I report on this, just so you know, is if wonky things start happening and you don't know what's happening, to me, there's nothing worse than being in the dark. Like when you're in the dark and you don't know what's going on, I'm like an information junkie. And I think with all the anxiety since the infection, I think all of us are on kind of high alert. So when weird things happen, we want to know um, what's going down. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Well, and especially those kind of things where people those are, sensitive personal issues. A lot of people don't share that, but women in community really do kind of lean on each other, and that's where I was just thinking, like, if my friend hadn't told me about the person she knows, and I
Mhm.
hadn't heard from somebody else, like, we wouldn't realize it was such an issue, you know?
Mhm. Right, right, right.
So, it's just really, I don't know. I'm glad that people are talking about it. I'm glad that we're at a point that community, they wanted us all divided. They didn't want us to be able to talk to each other and let us know what's going on. So I think it's really wonderful that we can all safely not give medical advice to each other because we're not doctors, but
Right,
to
right.
just share with the community and help those individuals know that they're not alone and that they should seek some medical
Yeah. And
help.
again, I mean,
Maybe. I don't know.
if
I don't even
you're
know if they would
really
do it.
convinced that that's the right choice for you to do I mean,
Mhm.
I tell people, listen to, it's your
Right.
body, your choice, your life. Um, but certainly be aware that other people can't be labeled as extremist or anti, you know,
Right.
they've just got a different consciousness about it, a different sensibility. So certainly, don't brand me because I'm making certain choices for my body,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
really, they shouldn't know. It should be because of HIPAA, it
Right,
shouldn't be
right.
anybody's business what
I know,
choices I
what
make
happened to
for my
HIPAA?
body.
I
Yeah.
loved HIPAA.
And what happened to my body, my choice? That's
Yeah,
another one
exactly.
that's right out the window when it doesn't fit their agenda.
Um, so Lisa, we have some breaking news here on okay, this is what we have. We have the Arizona recount, which is heating up and
Okay.
becoming and then I really want to talk about, it was really interesting because this morning I was watching Ben on Patreon and he brought up the Brian Brooks, um, where he's going to work for Binance US.
Yeah.
I had that on our list of stuff to talk about today. So, do you want to talk about Brian or do you want to go?
Totally up to you. I was gonna try to find the, what I sent you in Facebook, which I don't know if I can log into Facebook anymore on my
Oh, yeah,
computer.
that little clip.
Yeah. Um, I think I can only get to it on my phone.
Can you link your phone to the?
I'll see if I can figure out how to. Why don't you start talking about?
What do you want to do?
Why don't you do the Binance first, and while I try to
Okay,
find
that's
that
good. And
video.
actually, I have a little backfill on the Binance thing. Okay, so for those of you that know me, I work with Lisa. Obviously, I'm an angel mom. Everyone knows my story, my book. Lisa and I met, and in right about the time we met, I had started to, when I say become obsessed with crypto, that's putting it mildly. Like I I was in deep, and the thing about it is because of my background, I've owned two technical staffing agencies for 23 years. We were one of the leaders for many, many years. I know what a tech revolution looks like. I know what it smells like. I know what it feels like. And when I first started learning about cryptocurrencies back in 2017, I said, this is a party I'm not going to be late to. So I got into it. And like almost like someone who has a new boyfriend, you want to introduce your new boyfriend to all of your friends and family. You're all in love, you're all excited. Well, that's how I was about crypto. Like I told everyone I knew, and I'm telling you guys, I met with cold showers. I lost friends. People thought I was crazy. Um, I mean, I felt like I was losing my mind because it was so obvious to me where all this was going, and nobody wanted to hear it. And so then it led me to my political studies, which is what Lisa and I do this show about. And I realized there was a lot of lies and trickery and everything I thought was not true. So here I had this love affair going with crypto. Then I'm studying the political system. I'm going through a mental crisis thinking that the America I knew and loved was not really what I was raised with. It was very complicated. So what I realized, what I found out, you guys, is that people would say to me, "Oh, I'm not interested in politics, Amy." Oh, I'm not interested in crypto. But what they didn't realize is I knew that they were going to converge. They're going to become one and the same. And if you were going to survive, meaning 3 to 4 years down the road, which is what puts us here now, you were going to have to know about this. So I went back and made a second run at my friends and family to say, listen, you guys, this isn't just about politics. They're one and the same now. Don't you see? The financial system is causing a political crisis. The political system, the Federal Reserve, is causing a financial, and it's going to hit you in your pocketbook. No one wanted to hear it. No one wanted to listen to me. So I gave up and I just did my thing. And then I got into crypto. I did my own learning. Lisa and I became friends. We started our show, and I found my soul sister. It was like almost like I could talk to her. So I don't do a lot of talk about crypto. There's people that are far better on YouTube than I am. I consider myself a novice, even though I'm 3 years in. I'm very, very in deep with crypto. But I'm a student, and all I do is listen. But what I'm finding out for you guys now on this show, and this is another reason why you can share this, is we now are at a point where what people who dispelled politics can no longer dispel that. And people that dispelled, well, why do we need crypto? My bank worked just fine. We've used the dollar for years. All of those, we've all heard it all. We've all heard it all. Now it's becoming undeniable. You can't deny the fact when you go to the grocery store, something is really wrong. You can't deny the fact when you go to Bank of America on a Wednesday afternoon at 2:00 and the bank is closed with no note, that something is going on in the system.
And then, Amy, do you remember when you and I were talking about all those stories and they started following us on Twitter?
Yes,
so now one of my followers is Bank of America.
Yeah.
I'm my hand to God.
I'm
not kidding.
I know. Same with me.
When they're worried about me, and there's something there.
Yeah. Oh no, okay. So now here we are. Fast forward 4 years. Now, what I'm convinced. Now, this is the part I want you guys to hear because I think this is important. The speed at which this thing has traveled far exceeded what I thought in my personal timeline from my old crypto journey, my political journey. Like, this thing is building momentum like nothing I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's now colliding. Politics has become money. Money has become politics. There is no divide. And we are in the middle of a financial collapse. Anyone that does not think we are is not paying attention.
Right.
They're asleep. So I want from time to time to report in on some things that I think are game changers in a subtle way, because it's always like the little thing in the room that gets your attention. It's always that black swan event, that little thing that catches us off guard, that causes the whole snowballing effect. And for those people that think that crypto is separate from our fiat system, which is the traditional legacy financial system, which is collapsing. It's collapsing, guys. This is a sign right here that I wanted to talk about. This caught my attention 2 days ago or a day ago. I put it on the list to talk about. Bitcoin Ben picked it up, so I figured that was an omen from Moses himself that this needed to be brought up with your audience, Lisa. So that's how I got to this show. That's my crypto journey. And we'll be talking more about the crypto thing, because I know that like 97% of the population doesn't even know the word cryptocurrency.
Yeah, or misunderstands it and thinks that it's actually hidden money instead of being an open ledger.
Right. And Bitcoin is for drug dealers. You know that, right?
Yeah.
And not that the US dollar was ever used to smuggle cocaine.
Right. Or still is.
Still is.
Yeah.
And not that our government uses our dollars to do anything that. Oops.
No. Nefarious.
No.
Never.
They would never do that. No. Okay. So Mr. Brian Brooks, this guy's actually kind of an OG. I like him. I did a little research on him because I'm on LinkedIn, and Lisa, I sent you his LinkedIn profile. Oh, good. You can pull it up. Cool. Okay. Brian Brooks just came on as a board member and an executive of Binance US. Now, Binance US is part of Binance, but it's not Binance. It's almost like a subsidiary, or it's almost like a franchise. Okay, he's Binance US. He's not Binance, but it's a start. It's a start. The reason I like this is this shows a bridge between the legacy financial system and the new system. You guys, it's coming in so fast. Like, it is exploding my head. Okay. So I thought I'd give a little hope for people like me that are trying to think, how is this going to work? We have the legacy financial system, the legacy players, most of whom don't have a clue about cryptocurrency, how it works, or anything. And then we have the young TikTok, Dogecoin kids that are hardwired in their DNA to really understand this. But then you have all the American people in the middle that are going, what the hell is going on here?
Right.
Okay. But, and here's the rub, you guys, this thing is moving so fast. This is like a toboggan out of the gate right now. Like, if I didn't know what I know and spent the years studying, I would be freaked out. So here's Brian Brooks. I like him, and I'll tell you why. He's making a step. I want to go back. He graduated from the University of Chicago Law. Okay. So he's a lawyer by nature. In 1994, he went to work for O'Melveny and Myers. They're called OMM. Okay. We used to staff their IT department. Now, OMM is one of the largest, most powerful law firms in the United States. He went to work as kind of like a finance lawyer for them in Washington, D.C., and he was there till 2011. I'm suspecting that he met a lot of political people because OMM is such a prestigious powerhouse of a law firm. Then he leaves there and he goes to work for this company called Spring Labs, which is just this like fintechy kind of techie company. He's there for a stint. And this is where it gets interesting. Then he goes to work as a member of the board of directors for Fannie Mae and the FDIC. Okay. So he springboards out of sort of corporate America, traditional.
Interesting. There, the tech thing isn't even on his LinkedIn.
If you go down,
it says One West Bank.
No, that's the IndyMac. That's the IndyMac. If you go down further, Lisa, it said, yeah, Spring Labs.
Right,
yeah. I can't see yours.
So it says One Managing Group, OMM.
Right.
Till 1994 to 2011, 17 years. Then it says he's at One West Bank, now CIT Bank, immediately after.
Okay, then go.
So it didn't have the Spring Labs in here. Then it says Fannie Mae.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know when you read that it was on there and now he's taken it off.
Oh, that is so interesting. I'd have to go back and go through my notes. Okay. Wow, that is really interesting.
So strange.
Yeah, that's very strange. We'd have to Google him with Spring Labs. I show 2018. What's your timeline, Lisa? Can you go after Fannie Mae? Is it after that?
That's to 2018, and then member at Avant, member board chair.
Spring Labs, right there. Right there. Founding advisor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's okay.
March 2018. Okay. No, so I'm sorry. I was following the trail, but you jumped ahead.
Yeah, no. You're actually right. Because I was time jumping.
Okay.
I was jumping timelines, right? No, you were right. Okay. You were right.
And then he was chief legal officer at Coinbase.
Okay. Now let's stop there. Okay. This is what I want you guys to hear. He's dancing in Washington, D.C. between the prestigious law firms. Then he goes to some of the agencies, FDIC, Fannie Mac. Then he becomes the chief legal officer at Coinbase. Okay. Coinbase is now a heavy crypto play for him. This is a very interesting career path. Now, from a staffing point of view, this guy is a walking gem because he's a heavy hitter in two really important arenas. And this was the message I wanted to talk about today. He's like a bridge, you guys. And he's not ancient. He's not 80. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not 76 like our faux
pretendency.
Yes. Thank you, Lisa. I bit my tongue. I bit my tongue. So he's young. He gets it. He's connected. So then he goes, I really like this guy, Brian Brooks. So then
he's at that one place 17 years at the OMM.
Oh yeah, OMM. That's where he made all of his Washington contacts.
And then he went One West for close to
short,
little over almost 4 years at Fannie Mae. Then it gets into like 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. He has a choppy background, but I think what happened
9 months, 2 months.
Let me tell you what that's about. Now, this is inside from a staffing perspective. Okay. He was getting stock options. He was getting sign-on bonuses. And what happens is he was getting recruited out of these, and people were using sign-on bonuses, right? That's a little secret you're not supposed to know. We all know about it. Goes on in the staffing business all the time. Hey, Brian, we would like to take you out to dinner. We heard you just, went over to Coinbase and blah, blah, blah. And, if you were to come aboard here, we'd give you stock options. We'd give you a nice sign-on bonus. Oh, by the way, what's your salary? Because we could probably triple it. Let's play golf on Friday, bring out the heavy hitters at the country club, take them to all the top clubs in Washington, D.C., let them hobnob on, the hill, blah, 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 blah. And then boom, he's out of there. And he doesn't care because he's making so much money. Every time he makes a move, he gets a massive check. That's the real world.
Okay. That makes more sense. Because I'm like, why in the world is he
why did he move?
around?
Yeah, he's bounced around horrifically. Mm-hmm. So, if I was going to place this guy, I'd have to have a big come to Jesus talk with him because he's moved around a lot towards the end. But you know what? He will lobby. He'll say, listen, I was at OMM for, 17 years. And so I am stable. Okay. Back to the thing. He goes to Coinbase. Now, here it gets even interesting. Then in April of 2020, he becomes full deputy controller of the currency. That was for 1 month. That was very interesting. From 420 to 520, full deputy controller of the currency. That's a government appointed position to my knowledge. I'm sure that came with a lovely check and a country club membership as well. Then in 520, under our beloved T, okay, he was appointed as acting controller of the currency. Okay, everybody. Currency. We all are concerned with currency. So now he's come from Coinbase. Now he's back inside the government with all of that. You don't think that he wasn't recruited for the comptroller?
No, it says specifically in here that he was dubbed the first fintech comptroller and crypto comptroller for focus on financial innovation. He led efforts to modernize national bank charter, expand scope of marketplace, lending partnerships, reform and modernize the Community Reinvestment Act, which we probably should look up what that is.
Yep. Excellent, Lisa. That's what I wanted to bring, because what we have here is we have someone. Now, I will tell you, you think Brian has a little Bitcoin?
Oh,
you think?
I'm sure that's his signing bonus. And he founded something called Project Reach. And it's interesting. It was spelled capital R, capital E, capital A, capital C, lowercase h. That's typically not a typo in something like this.
Okay, so now we have Brian. Then he gets recruited to this week, assigned and recruited to Binance US. Now, remember, it's like a franchise. They have some kind of legal structure together, but if you open a Binance account and then you open a Binance US, they're two completely different things. But they're tied together legally. I don't know if CZ owns Binance US. I don't think he does. CZ, CZ.
I'm not aware. I don't know. I know he was the beginning of Binance and owns Binance, but I don't know about.
Right. Yeah, I think they're different, and I think they're using the Binance. I think they have a marketing agreement. If I had to dig into the legalities of it, I'm sure they have some kind of agreement. But this is the point I want to make for you guys. My concern when I saw I worked inside the old legacy financial system because we built all of the IT. My company built almost the whole IT department at Countrywide, many other big banks as well, and financial institutions. Then you have those guys. They think and act a certain way. Then you have this new crypto thing, which, I mean, this thing makes my head spin like The Exorcist. And I've been studying it full time for 4 years. It's moving faster and faster. Just when I think I have my arms wrapped around it, I realize I know nothing. Zero, zip, nada. And it's moving so fast. So I'm thinking, how can we get people to understand? Because guess what, guys? One day it's going to change. The government isn't going to give you time to learn it. There's no manual. Now, I know Ben is doing a terrific job, Bitcoin Ben, for his education. And he is doing the right thing. And this is what it's going to take. But I was concerned we don't have enough people in government and inside of companies, because until the government puts some strong regulations on how they're going to tax all of these transactions, just look at the kids now with Doge. They're spending it peer to peer with each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they go into now Venmo. You're going to be able to go into Venmo your friends, Litecoin, Bitcoin, and I think Bitcoin Cash. These kids move at the speed of light. They're not going to be thinking about their tax return.
No. And that's what I think will help a lot of people, because so many Americans so many people around the world live month to month. So they're not going to have a big loss when I say when the dollar dies. I believe it already died. But as we go through this transition where the people that are do have a lot of wealth in banks will suffer.
Oh, well, that's a whole different show, Lisa. Suffer's not the word. It's going to go zero. Yeah. But that's a whole different show. That's a completely different show. So
I jumped around and got a little bit of information on, let me see if I can share this, because I think this is interesting to put all these pieces together.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
So let's see, Federal Reserve Board, the Community Reinvestment Act that was founded in 1977 requires the Federal Reserve and other federal banking regulators to encourage financial institutions to help meet credit needs of the communities which they do business, including low, moderate income neighborhoods. So this is what he was involved with. Then, so it talks about banking regulators for CRA, but it's basically giving loans to the community. Then he jumps on, let's see here. Oh, I'll have to go back and stop and then reshare. Then he creates, this is what he founded, Project Reach.
Okay.
And it is spelled like that with the lowercase c or h, I'm sorry. And it is about removing barriers to financial inclusion for minority outreach. Okay. Really interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's an interesting
financial literacy.
Yeah, right. Education.
And it's under the Community Reinvestment Act. But that REACH program specifically is for minority outreach.
Well, I'm not going to make a judgment. I have a hunch on how that came about. I'm going to leave my opinion out of that, but I'll just tell you this. A lot of these guys that work up there on the Hill and are in Washington, they get in bed with a lot of these things because it looks really good to back minorities, and they get votes and they get things pushed through and they get graft. And
they also get big grants for saying that they do that.
Exactly. And listen, I'm not saying Brian Brooks is a crook. I'm not. I don't want anybody to think that. But what I like about him, and I want you guys to start to think about and share with friends, is we're starting to see the framework which we desperately need in the cryptocurrency space between the legacy system. How is this going to work? The legacy system with this wild, I mean, cryptocurrency every day takes my breath away. I'm in awe of it. I'm in awe of what I can do with it, what I do with it. It renders me speechless, the power of this. And I believe that this transition is going to happen so fast now, and it's the steam is way beyond speed that I thought we had maybe 3-4 years kind of integrated. No, this is going to happen. And if we have a crisis, if we have any kind of black swan event, if we have a silver delivery failure, I mean, physical, I'm not talking about an ETF. If we, the dollar's already in crisis. If we have a confrontation between China and Russia, if China and Russia they're practically pulled out of using the dollar anyway to trade with, they're using cryptos. This is going to happen fast, guys. And Americans who are not prepared, their head will spin. You don't know how fast this is, and this is going to make such an impact on our financial system. It's going to impact how you buy your food every day, how you pay your rent. When you see Venmo and PayPal adopting Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, anyone in their right mind is not going to spend their Bitcoin. I mean, if you do, you're just an idiot, but that's another story. But Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. Uh-oh, I lost you, Lisa, on your...
Sorry, I muted myself. We were going to get some background noise.
So Brian is, when I saw this, I thought he's the first real bridge. This is a bridge now between the traditional legacy. Morgan Stanley is now getting involved. Goldman Sachs is involved. And they're starting to push this narrative faster, but it's not a narrative now. It is happening. And I think Brian's going to be an asset to the space. I'm hoping, and I'm optimistic.
I hope so. I really hope so. I mean, I'm concerned with his DC connections, but there are good guys, and we have to remember about who made him acting comptroller, and then what he did while he was there is really encouraging to me. That he is, he took something that was an act that established in 1977, but they really focused it to help women and minorities, and that's all very encouraging, I think.
Absolutely. And we also know he knows the swamp. He knows the swamp.
Yeah.
And he knows the cryptosphere.
Yeah.
So at some point, we're going to have to get in bed with the enemy. I mean, we're going to need some IRS regulation on this. I can't have another tax year like I'm having this year, doing my own transaction taxes. It's your worst nightmare.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it. Thank goodness we mostly just hodl.
Right.
And so that should be a little more simple. But
yeah, no, we need to get some kind of IRS software system or something, because I spend more time, doing
they'll tell you there is software to track your trades and stuff. Johnny was telling me about it. In fact, that's the reason that I lost my first channel, and they refused to let me. So we're not going to talk about that because.
Yeah. And the question is will the IRS honor those software programs? We don't know. I've been through multiple audits, so I know what the audit scene looks like. And by the way, I've won every audit. In fact, they've owed me money back. But I'm like the queen of all. I've been through probably 10 audits between the state and the feds over 2 companies plus personal, and I've won every single one. So the IRS at the drop of a hat could say, "Oh, you're giving us this crypto tax software ABC company, and we don't honor that. We want to see your own records." They can do whatever they want in an audit, guys. And they will. So I'm not I'm not afraid. I know how to navigate an audit, but the point is here's your thing, Lisa.
Yes, I found it.
Okay, let's listen to this. I like it.
Okay. Hopefully I can get this loud enough. You guys let me know if you can't hear this.
Hey guys, I have an election update, and you're going to want to share the hell out of this one. Those Dominion voting systems that had that glitch in Michigan and switched 6,000 Trump votes to Biden? Well, they have completed data analysis on them and they have found that 2.7 million Trump votes were deleted nationwide. That's 2.7 million Trump votes deleted nationwide. 221,000 Pennsylvania Trump votes were switched to Biden. That's 221,000 Trump votes switched over to Biden. 941,000 Pennsylvania Trump votes were deleted out of the system. And 435,000 votes nationwide were switched from Trump to Biden. So, folks, have faith. Just give it some time. We all knew this was going to be a Trump landslide. It didn't add up. So let's just be patient and see how it goes, and share this one. It's being deleted off of Facebook.
Whoops. I might get in trouble for that. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
So you guys, there are in the links in the description below, there are links that you can go find me on Odyssey and follow me, please. And also my Patreon, it's $5 a month, and it'll at least let you stay with me, or you can find me there if you can't find me if I get offed again. We'll see what happens. But
So
not going to quit fighting. We're going to keep fighting. We just may have to move around a little bit.
oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So we have this guy talking truth bombs about the election. Now back to my second favorite obsession, because this state, Arizona, that I live in, could be, and I've been saying this now. So we have some new news here about what's starting to heat up. Lisa, the first, I want to first, can you open up the one that says Hillary's attorney, Mark Elias, inserts himself into the Arizona fight?
Mm-hmm.
Can you find that one?
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay. So what we have here is, recap. Arizona's recounting. We have Karen Fann, who is the president of the Senate in Arizona, spearheading. She is, this woman's a warrior. Like I cannot tell you what a warrior this woman is. I hope I can meet her one day. Okay, so we've been tracking the recount. The fight is on. The fight is real. The County Board of Supervisors does not want to recount. The Senate had to go to the Supreme Court. They're going to do a recount. They're picking the auditors now. We have the auditors. They've got them lined up. Then in comes, I'm telling you, this is just too much. Hillary Clinton's attorney, Mark Elias, inserts himself. Do you know what he inserts himself into the Arizona Senate audit of Maricopa County, of which I live in Maricopa County, is using his massive network to broaden his attack. What are they hiding? So the national Democratic machine is in panic mode right now, you guys in Arizona. They are in freaking panic mode over the upcoming Arizona Senate's Maricopa County ballot audit. Last week, the Democrats sent in its national fixer, attorney Mark Elias from Perkins Coie, that must be the law firm he works for, to throw around threats and make the audit go away. So Hillary, if she's, well, I shouldn't say that. I don't want to make a mess.
Yeah, we don't need to get.
The flying monkeys are coming in right now. Okay. The flying monkeys are coming in to throw around threats and make the audit go away. Today, Elias took to the media in his effort to badmouth the audit. So this guy goes out. Of course, they let him talk all over social media. Of course, he could talk. Okay. So he's sitting there saying, all the classic things, the Republicans are just, sour grapes. We already did the audit. The audit already went through. Mr. B won, all this nonsense. Right. Mm-hmm. So then it says here that the Republicans, we're determined. We're going through with this recount. Okay. And then it's very interesting because the Senate's going to be conducting the audit because the Maricopa Board of Supervisors utterly refused in its responsibilities to deliver a transparent, honest, and accurate audit for the citizens. And the Senate, okay, so this is the Senate that went to the Supreme Court, said the scope of the work, this is the new audit now, you guys, will include, they're going to scan all the ballots. Then they're going to have a full manual recount of 2.1 million ballots cast in the election. They're going to audit the registration and votes cast, as well as the vote counts and the electronic voting system. Okay. So they picked out who they're going to do the audit. And what is happening right now is the Democratic progressive weapons are being pointed directly at the Arizona Senate and the 4 firms. They've got 4 audit firms that have been hired to conduct this transparent, accurate, and truthful audit of the 2020 Maricopa County elections result. The Democrats need to shut this audit down. What are they hiding?
If I haven't lost my channel by now, I will be shocked.
Oh, Lisa, did I do this?
Well, no, it's just, we can't, you get in trouble for talking about the count. So it'll be interesting to see, but maybe this is different. Maybe we are allowed to talk about this since it is published. Or
well, also
just
too,
reading facts.
We've got here,
Then this was also reported on NPR, whose content is furthest left. So it's not like this is,
So what happened was my favorite hero, Karen Fan. Remember Karen, Lisa?
Yes.
The president of the Arizona Senate, and Rick Gray, the Arizona Senate Majority Leader. They went on a show, Sean Spicer, on Newsmax, Spicer and Company last night. Okay, they were on a TV show, and Fan. This is what she says. This lady is fantastic. She says, well, this is what she says. And I'm just going to read this, Lisa. And if you want me to stop, just tell me to stop.
Oh, go ahead. I don't know what we're going to end up at this point.
They're asking her, like, why are you, why are you recounting? Like, isn't this a dead issue? Blah, blah, blah. And she says, listen to this. She says, well, from the very get-go, we saw the right. The day after the election, we were getting hundreds and hundreds of emails of people asking questions about the integrity of the election. Some of that was because our Secretary of State had made a deal to allow people to register 4 days after the election.
I hadn't heard that before.
I know, Lisa. This came out on the show last night.
Wow. Okay. Well,
let me say this again. 4 days. Do you remember, Lisa, how long it took to get the results in? Remember, it went on?
That? Because they were still registering people.
You think? Maybe? Okay.
Good.
So then she says, we started hearing of things going around the nation, and I, meaning Karen, she's my favorite person, my new best friend, had asked the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors to please expand their double checking audit. And it kind of snowballed from there. So then
it's exciting to me that the Senate is going to be holding the audit, because it feels like that's more of a
And then she says, and this will be a good wrap up for us. And then Fan shared this. Unfortunately, and what is interesting is from the get-go, it has been nothing but certifying election integrity. But the fact that we have been pushed back, they have sued us. They are threatening to sue us again. Maricopa County supervisors have done everything in their power to prevent us from doing this. And now I'm beginning to wonder, why would they not want us to prove that their election system works and that it's perfect?
Great point.
I don't understand why we're getting threatened and sued and threatened when all we want is election integrity here.
And they're not stating that it wasn't. At this point, they're just saying we're going to look into it. It needs an audit to find out. So,
Well, the county board of supervisors has said, we've already done an audit. We're not going to do it. And so they keep suing them. And that's why they keep going to court. That's why this audit, but now it's a done deal. There's 4 audit firms, Lisa, they're going to have involved. 4.
interesting.
Now, do you think, I mean, just put our tinfoil hats on. If this turns out to be a landslide win for our beloved T, what do you think might happen in some other states that are up in the air right now?
Well, the same things, we really, we do need to wrap this up, but we really need to be praying for everyone in America and for peace and for our police. And, I just can't imagine what those families are going through right now. And no one was going to win in this case, at
Right.
least the people weren't going to win.
Right.
So, just want to send everybody my love and prayers for peace today, tonight, and for something positive for our country and for the world to come. So
Yeah.
don't give up. Know that God's in control, and that what we can do is love one another. So we'll see you guys all on the next new normal if we still have a channel. See ya.